Thank you, Representative Lang. I've been trying to peruse the bill a little bit. Your bill does require a treating physician to issue the permit to use the medical marijuana?
Thank you for the question, Representative. Yes, a treating physician must not only certify that the person needs this product, but certify what the previous efforts have been to eradicate the pain and the nausea, and certify the specific debilitating illness that requires the product. So it just can't be a general notion of pain or a general notion of nausea. The physician has to certify in writing the exact debilitating condition.
And how do you define treating physician?
Well, the bill has a definition. I don't have it in front of me.
Does it have just a definition of a physician, or does it define the relationship at all between the patient and the physician?
Bear with me a moment.
No problem.
The bill defines physician as any doctor licensed to practice in any branch of medicine.
But it doesn't define the relationship.
I would just simply like to add that regardless of who that physician is, regardless of how long the relationship has gone on between the patient and the doctor must certify in writing that the patient needs this product, what the debilitating condition is, and risks his or her license if they lie on this document.
Okay. Does the legislation allow for reciprocity between Illinois and the other states that would allow medical marijuana?
The department would have to create rules to determine whether people coming in from other states with proof that they're allowed to have marijuana in those states. However, it does allow a short grace period from coming into Illinois for that purpose. The department would have specific rules to follow.
So if you come in from Colorado or California, you'd have some period of time which you could get the medical marijuana dispensed, but then that would have to be reviewed by the department?
Yes, and I want to go back to your last question, Representative, about the physician-patient relationship. The bill says a written certification shall be made only in the course of a bona fide physician-patient relationship after the physician has completed a full assessment of the qualifying patient's medical history.
And do you think the rules will define that better? Would that be typical?
I think the rules will certainly define the last question you asked me before that relative to people coming in from other states.
Okay.
I think the bill is pretty clear about the responsibilities of physicians, and they run the risk of losing their license if they're not truthful.
And what is the relationship between someone using the medical marijuana and an employer? Can an employer still operate what they would, if they're operating a drug-free workplace? Can they still do that? How does that work?
Bear with me.
My 5 minutes are ticking, Representative.
We'll give you more time, I'm sure.
I'm sure the Speaker will do that.
All of your normal workplace rules regarding smoke-free Illinois and drug-free workplaces would apply, Representative.
Okay. And is it still unlawful then to operate a vehicle while you'd be under the influence of the medical marijuana?
Yes, those rules haven't changed. This does not give someone carte blanche to be high on marijuana or any other product and do things that are dangerous to the general public.
And what is the situation with home rule on this legislation?
The bill does not mention home rule in any way.
Does it allow municipalities then to control where the dispensaries would be located?
The bill does not control home rule in any way.
Okay. And if someone applies, is there a grace period when someone applies through the Department of Public Health so that they could start to use the medical marijuana before the department has the opportunity to actually review their application?
The department has to review the application, review the doctor's...
Permitted to answer, and we'll grant an additional minute to the lady.
The patient history, and to determine whether a person was entitled to the license, and the patient would not be entitled to have the product until they receive the license.
Okay, so there's no pre-thing that says, or like a grace period again, where you could have it and that while the department's reviewing the license.
There is no such provision.
And do we have what is the expense to the department on this?
The department has not given me a fiscal note on this. I can't imagine that it would be very costly. There aren't that many people that we expect are going to apply for this.
Okay. I appreciate your responses to my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further.
Thank you, Mr. Support of this legislation, and I'd like to commend the sponsor for doing his homework and his due diligence for quite some time now. I too have heard from a number of individuals in my district who have discussed the rationale, tried to figure out the rationale at least, as of why this is still an issue here in the state of Illinois. Given the fact that we have all different brands of aspirin, but they work differently on different people. We have all different brands of pain medicine, but they have different effects on different people. This bill simply allows a physician to have the option, the choice, a patient to have the option, a choice to help subside some of their chronic pain. And if we read just the Second Amendment to this bill, it says very specifically, a debilitating disease or medical condition or its treatment that produces intractable pain, which is severe, debilitating pain that did not respond to other reasonable medical efforts for a reasonable period of time, including in cases where other treatment options produce serious side effects. People, we're talking about cancer, we're talking about glaucoma, HIV, AIDS, we're talking about hepatitis C, agitation of Alzheimer's disease, nail patella, or the treatment of other conditions such as wasting syndrome, severe pain, severe nausea, seizures, including but not limited to those characteristics of epilepsy and or severe and persistent muscle spasms, including but not limited to those characteristics of MS. We can come up with as many arguments against this legislation, but I think the real tale is when you know or when you talk to someone who has tried most of the over-the-counter drugs that has been described or prescribed by their respective physician. Unless you know and have talked to someone who wakes up every day or goes throughout their day in severe and abject pain, we should be supporting some form of palliative care. Marijuana in its natural form has been studied by the DEA, by the state of Mississippi, by 15 states, and they found reasonable arguments to support and fund this type of legislation. This is the 21st century, 10 years in, and we're just now having this medical marijuana conversation, debate on whether we help people or not who are in severe pain. If there were medicines that could help people, this wouldn't be an issue. But the fact of the matter is, every drug is not for every person. And if people are trying or using medical marijuana today and it's helping them, what's wrong with that? There's not a problem with helping someone who has a terminal illness who is looking for some form of relief. I think this is a grand opportunity for us to come into the 21st century by giving patients an option. an option to help save their life, the option to help